Okay, let's unpack this. For years, really, the main game for YouTube creators was all about, getting views on the latest video, what you put out today.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing now, based on our sources, is this huge, really systemic shift happening. It means that content you published, say, 2, 3 years ago, that could actually be the new gold mine, an appreciating one. We're diving deep today into dynamic ad insertion.dai. This tech is basically set to flip YouTube monetization on its head. It takes the creator's whole back catalog, all those older videos still getting views, and turns them into ad inventory that's measurable, recurring, and, importantly, timely.
Yeah, and it directly tackles what's been, honestly, a massive flaw in how creators got paid for sponsorships until now, which is that permanent, burned-in ad read. The creator does a shout-out, it gets edited in, and boom, it's stuck there forever.
Right, part of the video file itself.
Exactly, and that was, well, frankly, a nightmare for everyone involved, the creator. They couldn't resell that slot, even if the video kept getting views for years, just lost revenue piling up. And for the brands, well, you've probably seen it. A 3-year-old video pushing a product that maybe doesn't even exist anymore, or an outdated offer.
Oh, yeah. That 5-year-old service plan being advertised on a review from 2019 happens all the time.
Totally. So the ROI was murky, hard to track cleanly, and honestly, the viewer experience just got worse over time. DAI fixes this. It's fundamentally different at its core.
Okay, so DAI is the tech solution here. It gives creators these, TV-style ad slots, right, within their videos. Flexibility they just didn't have. But if the old ads were baked in, what's the actual difference? How does DAI work technically? Is the ad not, touching the video file?
That's exactly it. That's the crucial part. These ad segments are swappable because the ad isn't actually edited into the video file itself. It's inserted on the server side.
Server side, okay.
Yeah, so when you, the viewer, hit play, the server fetches the video and the appropriate ad and stitches them together just for that viewing session. The original video stays completely clean, untouched. So you can put an ad in, take it out, or, and this is the really powerful bit, replace it instantly with a different ad based on who's watching, where they are, or even just the date.
Wow, okay. That completely changes the deal structure then. Instead of selling one slot, one time, forever.
Right, you're not selling permanence anymore. Now, the creator can sell access to that slot for a specific time frame, or even better, based on delivering a guaranteed number of views or impressions.
So that video from 5 years ago is the one that's still pulling in decent traffic?
It's not a museum piece with an old, crusty ad anymore. It's suddenly fresh, sellable inventory. Today. Right now. And it can stay relevant because the ad message can always be current.
Okay, if the ads are rotating, swapping out. The math for brands has got to change too. How do they buy this? What's the commercial agreement look like? And how do you guarantee they get what they paid for?
Yeah, the math definitely shifts. It moves firmly into the world of guaranteed delivery. And the currency becomes CPM, cost per mil. Cost per 1,000 views.
Right, standard digital advertising metric.
Exactly. Brands aren't buying a permanent fixture anymore. They're buying the promise of eyeballs, audience attention, delivered by that creator's content.
So walk us through an example. How does that work numerically?
Okay, so let's use the numbers from the sources. A brand might agree to buy, say, 100,000 impressions, and they agree on a CPM rate with the creator. Let's say it's a $25 CPM. Pretty standard for good inventory. So, simple math. That deal is worth $2,500 for those 100,000 guaranteed impressions.
Oh, wait, doesn't that put all the risk on the creator now? I mean, they have to guarantee they can actually deliver those 100,000 views, right?
That sounds like it needs some serious forecasting. It does shift the type of risk, absolutely. It moves from purely a sales risk, did I sell the slot, to more of a deliverability risk. Can my content reliably generate those views? But think about the old way. Sponsor pays $10 hey up front, video flops after 6 months. The brand carried that risk. Now with DAI, the brand basically only pays for impressions that are actually served. If the campaign only delivers, say, 50,000 impressions towards that 100K goal.
They only pay half, so $1,250 in our example.
Precisely. They pay proportionally. But here's the flip side for the creator. Once the 100,000 impression cap is hit for brand A,
brand B can rotate right in. Instantly.
The very next impression served in that slot goes to the next campaign in the queue. So the creator isn't leaving money on the table anymore. They're maximizing the yield from every single ad slot across their popular videos.
And this must allow for premium pricing too, right? If you have a really specific engaged audience.
Oh, absolutely. Just like premium TV slots. If you're a creator focused on, high-end cybersecurity tools and your audience is deeply engaged, You can command much, much higher CPMs than a general entertainment channel, even one with similar view counts. The value is tied directly to the quality, the niche, and the predictability of that audience's attention.
Okay, this tech is cool, the model makes sense.
Hmm.
But it sounds like a huge operational lift for creators. They basically have to stop thinking like they just make videos and start thinking like they're running a media network. Is the real hurdle here less the tech and more just the sheer management task? Imagine a big creator, hundreds, maybe thousands of videos. How do they even start auditing all that?
That's spot on. That is the core challenge, especially up front. The very first step is pretty intense. The inventory audit. Creators literally have to go back through their entire library, video by video, and identify the evergreen ones.
Evergreen meaning.
Videos that consistently pull in steady views long after they were first published. Maybe it's a great tutorial, a classic review, a foundational explainer. They're looking for content with predictable, ongoing traffic. That's the key. Predictability.
Okay, find the evergreens. Then what?
Then comes the monetization math. You have to actually quantify that steady traffic. Let's take that example. A solid review from 2022 still reliably gets 10,000 views every single month. Well, that translates directly into 120,000 sellable, predictable impressions per year from just that one video.
Right. And when you multiply that across dozens or hundreds of evergreen videos,
Suddenly you have a real quantifiable ad inventory. And this predictability lets creators potentially shift their business towards something more like annual recurring revenue, ARR. That's huge for stability in a volatile space.
it also implies you need to think differently when making new videos too, right? Like consciously building in natural spots for these ads, almost like designing commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Using phrases like, okay, before we get into the next section, or speaking of productivity.
Exactly. You need clean, logical insertion points that feel natural to the viewer. And this dynamic tech unlocks even more sophisticated stuff. Think about targeting. You can sell the exact same ad slot in that 2022 video to totally different advertisers based on geography.
Whoa, okay, so someone watching in London sees an ad for a UK brand.
And the next person watching the same video, maybe a minute later in Los Angeles, sees an ad for a US brand. Same slot, different ads, maximum relevance, and yield.
So the big strategic takeaway for creators listening is audit your library, quantify your evergreen views, and then start pitching your brand partners not on one-off shoutouts, but on these recurring access deals, buying chunks of impressions over time.
That's the move. Treat your back catalog like a valuable living asset. Package it up, prove its predictability, and sell ongoing access, not just one-time placements. It's a fundamental shift from project-based income to managing an inventory portfolio.
Okay, so if creators are managing inventory like this, it must drastically change how brands, the advertisers, approach buying, right?
Yeah.
Especially the big ones moving serious budget around. How does this change their strategy if predictability is the new game?
It absolutely changes things. Brands are likely going to adopt what you could call a programmatic portfolio approach. Instead of putting all their eggs in one big sponsorship basket with one huge creator, they'll likely spread their spend across maybe 10, 20, even more creators within a specific niche. Why? To test performance efficiently.
Ah, so it becomes less about the one big endorsement splash and more about finding what actually works across a range of similar audiences.
Exactly. They're looking for volume, yes, but also optimization. Which creators, which messages, which offers actually drive results. This turns the creator landscape into this, like, rapid-fire testing lab for brands. Imagine A/B testing different 30-second ad spots or different calls to action, maybe different discount codes.
And they can swap these creatives in and out of the same creator's ad slots using DAI.
Super quickly. They get data back fast, see what's working, double down on that, pull what isn't, constant iteration. So the buying strategy itself shifts away from those one-off deals towards what our sources are calling rolling access buys.
Rolling access buys. Okay, what does that actually mean in practice?
Think of it almost like buying futures contracts, but for audience attention.
Yeah.
Instead of booking specific dates, like I want my ad in this video launching next Tuesday, a brand might buy, say, 500,000 guaranteed impressions to be delivered across a creator's relevant inventory over the next maybe 6 months. No fixed end date, just a volume goal.
So the creator's job is to deliver that volume from their approved inventory.
Right. And the brand gets a guaranteed delivery. They only pay for what they get, plus the flexibility to keep tweaking their ad creative until they hit peak performance for that audience. It's like TV level planning, but with digital's measurement and optimization smarts baked in.
That ability to segment seems really powerful, targeting different ads to different viewers of the same video. But is there a risk here? If ads are constantly changing, even if they're technically relevant, could it lead to ad fatigue for loyal viewers who watch a lot of one creator's content?
That's a really valid point and something everyone needs to watch. But actually, the goal of DAI, when done well, should be to reduce fatigue. Because if an ad isn't performing well, or frequency capping shows a viewer has seen it too many times, it can be swapped out instantly.
Ah, okay, so it's not just about relevance, but also about freshness.
Exactly. And remember, the targeting serving different creative based on location or maybe inferred interests. The idea is to avoid that feeling of seeing the same irrelevant ad hammered home again and again. It's aiming for a continuous optimization cycle, better for the viewer, better for the brand, better for the creator. Something fixed, burned-in ads could just never do.
So why now? Why is all this hitting critical mass right at this moment? What's the bigger picture driving this whole shift?
Well, if you zoom out and look at the global ad market, the trends are pretty clear. The market is basically forcing this change. You've got legacy linear TV advertising spend, still massive, right? Around $60 billion a year, roughly. But it's declining, slowly but surely. Meanwhile, YouTube's ad revenue, sitting somewhere around $36 billion, is growing strong. Double digits. Our sources mentioned about 13% growth recently.
So money's already flowing towards digital video.
It is, and brands are desperately chasing two things they're losing on traditional TV. One, younger, more engaged audiences who just aren't watching linear TV anymore. And two, better measurement, precise, accountable results for their spend. DAI really delivers on that second point.
So DAI provides the kind of structure and accountability that big brands need to feel comfortable shifting even more of those massive TV budgets over. We're talking billions, potentially.
Potentially billions, yeah. Think about the top U.S. advertisers alone. They manage well over $100 billion in total ad spend. They need scalable, measurable ways to reach audiences on platforms like YouTube. DAI gives them a framework that feels familiar, like TV planning, but with the digital accountability they crave. It helps justify moving that spend.
And the timeline seems to back this up. This isn't some far-off concept. It's happening now.
It's accelerating fast. The sources are pointing to significant testing starting in late 2025, and the expectation is for a full rollout, pretty widespread, during 2026.
Wow, okay. So that's really just around the corner.
It is, which means the clock is ticking, in a way. The creators and the brands who get organized now, who start auditing that back catalog, who start structuring these new kinds of deals, they're the ones who are going to get the best results early on, secure the best inventory, the highest yields, the most favorable long-term partnerships. Early movers definitely have an advantage here. Hashtag tag outro.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this massive shift towards DAI really mean for you listening right now, whether you're on the creator side, the brand side, or even just watching YouTube? It seems like potentially a genuine win-win-win scenario, doesn't it?
It really does look that way when you break it down, viewers. Hopefully they see ads that are actually more relevant and timely. Less of that jarring, outdated stuff, because the system allows for freshness and better targeting.
Right. And for creators, it's potentially transformative. They gain recurring, sustainable revenue streams from their entire library, not just the latest hit. Their past work becomes this appreciating digital asset. More stability.
Huge for stability. And finally, for brands, they get what they've been asking for. Measurable, predictable delivery that they pay for based on actual results. It's large-scale reach like TV, but with digital's accountability built right in.
So the really big final thought here, the strategic takeaway, is that DAI fundamentally changes the game. It turns that static video library into a dynamic, living marketplace for attention. It gives brands this incredible combination of TV-style planning power with digital's precision optimization tools.
Yeah, the nature of media value is being recalculated right now. The window to prepare for this is definitely open. The opportunity is to start restructuring how you think about content value, how you package deals, how you design creative. So the provocative question to leave you with is, what concrete steps can you take starting today to really audit and quantify the future potential, the future yield of your existing assets or the assets you manage for brands to be ready for this major inventory shift? How do you put a number on that back catalog value now?